1991. 1991 is recent. I had joined university. Some of the regions out of this uneasiness, some of these regions like Croatia, like Slovenia, they demanded independence from Yugoslavia. Then the Bosnian, strangely, Muslims, I don't know how you become a Muslim and a Bosnian. It's as if religion is your identity card. You are either Bosnia or European. I don't know how religion, so you see the seeds of problems. The people they called Bosnian Muslims, who are also mainly ethnic Serbs, with the blessing of European Union and America, also demanded independence. Then came Kosovo with its ethnic Albanians. So the Albanians, is a country called Albania, but a majority of its, call it diaspora, were living in Kosovo, almost 70 to 80%. They demanded independence. By 2003, the country of Yugoslavia ended. What's the lesson? Nationalistic, parochial, rhetoric, and political tensions, they drive ethnic identities to the fore, and they destroy the fabric of what had, been established with blood, with sweat. And we know this in Africa. We've seen it in some countries around us and in the region. Now, these days, in these Balkans, in this former Yugoslavia, to move to any of these former Yugoslav republics, you need a passport. You need an ID. If you are from a former region that made up the old country, you need a visa. Strangely, one country now visas. All this has happened in one generation. And the older people have had to relearn how to live separately, in these small countries. One of the countries, I think it's Montenegro, has like 1.2 million people. The capital city which I visited has 250,000 people. So the older people have had to relearn how to live separately, and they seem to miss the old Belgrade, the old days in Belgrade. Some of them, not all. So I passed through buildings that bring the past. Such, for example, I remember when I was young, Hotel Yugoslavia, which hosted world leaders. It today lies in ruins. The Communist Party newspaper building, which I saw, looks like a scene from the past, still standing, but the country has been resilient and growing, now with a youthful population that seems to have moved on. To move on is to forget and learn how to live. Streets are clean, highways are well manicured, and the mountains are very well forested. And being who loves planting trees, landing in a country with forests, planted trees is beautiful. It's so nourishing. So the mountains are well forested. Entertainment, food, culture, strongly steeped in the Slavic traditions. You see it when you go out for dinners and meet people. Serbia is attracting heavy investment from the UAE. It has high-rise accommodation buildings coming. I could see in the city. You can almost draw a line between the old and the new in Belgrade. So what do we make of this breakup? I think this is the point I want to make. 2 points I want to make. One on this breakup and another on trade, because that's my interest. How do you fix those two things? So what do we make of this breakup, and what lessons for the emerging economies in Africa? First, it seems to me that nothing beats nationalism. If nationalism is not tempered with flexibility in politics, there are problems. But this is also ironical, given often it is the political flexibility and a sense of withdrawal by the center that seems to cause regions to become bases of agitation for autonomy, to say the least. And in the worst case scenario, that flexibility can breed incompetence and corruption and slowed growth, especially when the peripheral areas of a country judge that the center is weak and therefore vulnerable. And nationalism, strangely, is not for the less educated, or even those who the economic growth might throw off the rails by the fact of losing skills in a new economy in globalization. I found it interesting that nationalism, much like Brexit, in UK, it is the well-to-do who seem to push harder more than the common person for the breakup. For example, I met a gentleman called Branko Vukomanovic. Vukomanovic, wherever in the Slavic, South Slavic, or even Slavic language you meet Vich, it is like in Jewish, Bar, which means son of, or Bin in Arabic, which is son of. So Vich is son of someone. So I met this creative director called Vukomanovic. He's a director of a newspaper called Allo. It's a news magazine with traditional print, radio, TV, and new media channels. In his office, he holds emotionally to a memento, a small torn shard, a piece of history of an American stealth bomber. That stealth bomber, it's a jet fighter, F-117. The Serbian Air Defense shot it down in March 1999. So for him, for Vukomanovic, very educated, very broad-minded, but very nationalistic. The idea that the Serbian army brought down an American stealth bomber keeps the Serbian nationalistic spirit for this very educated gentleman who understands the media and its impact in the last 100 years. And he and his colleagues at the paper are leading a Serbian revolution at keeping the values of their young people against the onslaught of social media and external influences. So the question really to take away from point number one is, can you keep flexible and survive a breakup? Or would you be harsh and keep temporary peace and unity? You decide. You investigate that question. Which way should we take as Africans who want both economy and political unity as the basis of our stability and social change? What is the most enduring path to long-term unity? I ask you to ponder on these questions for our times. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
I'd like to hear from you. Please email us at info@tapmedia.com and visit our website at www.tapmedia.com. You can also visit our offices located at Tomosi Business Park, Luzira, Port Bell Road, or call 0414 220 702. Thank you.